I woke up Sunday morning in Rockwall saying, hey, let's freaking change the story. Let's change the narrative. Let's be a dog today. And I told myself Saturday night, I said, this is my time. I'm deserving. I've been working my ass off. I've been sacrificing. You know, I get up early. I play from 6 to 8. I go work out. I come back. I do a second workout. I'm spending time away from the kids. I'm doing it better than I think anyone out there. And so it's my freaking time. What's going on? My name is Tyson McGuffin. Welcome to the McGuffin Show. It's a beautiful day here in Coeur d'Alene. Was gone for a couple weeks and came home some pretty cold weather. Definitely feels a little different than Newport Beach. I got some lovely people around me. Got my princess right here. Always love looking at that pretty face. And I got my man K-Mac, who is still in Newport Beach and hung out in Disneyland for a couple days. K-Mac, what's going on?
I don't know what you guys are doing. I'm still living the good life down in SoCal.
Jeez, man. God, get a life. Okay? Get back to your kids.
Little does Tyson know, I'm going to fly out tomorrow. And I'm gonna...
She's out. She's off to Los...
I was going to wait until after we filmed the episode.
She's off to Los Barriles. Cuban cigars, margaritas, tacos.
In Newport Beach, you guys lucked out.
It's terrible down there. I had a terrible time.
I love that whole our whole Newport Beach family. They're amazing. So
yeah, I got that.
Missed out.
Yeah. This episode is sponsored by Bemer Therapy. If you guys want to check out Bemer, great medical device. I've been using it for a long time now. I sleep on it. I use it morning and night. 8 minutes in the morning, 8 minutes at night. Sleep about 6 hours a night. So sleep mode, it's on for the first 2 hours that you sleep. It's off for a couple hours, and it comes back on the last 2 hours that you wake up. So you kind of program your sleep on the medical device. Great for recovery, great for inflammation, great for mental clarity. And if you want to stay looking good and live to about 200 years old, get your ass on a Bemer today, baby. You can go to my website, TysonMcGuffin.com, click on the sponsor tab and see what Bemer's all about. It's a little spendy, but as my wife knows, she's also used Bemer, and it is definitely worth the dollar. I'll tell you what,
the investment. My
mom just had shoulder surgery. She had a bunch of bruising going on, and always seems like she's hurt. Just kidding. And hopefully she doesn't watch this episode. And anyhow, she's been using Bemer for the last 2 weeks. All of her swelling went away. It was all black and blue. She told me this morning swelling went away. She's getting her range of motion back, and she's a brand new lady, baby. Watch out.
Yeah, pretty cool. Her doctor was even asking her, like, what are you doing differently? So it's pretty cool. And once you buy
hanging out with young men is what she's doing.
It's like you don't have to keep buying Bemers. You just need one, and it lasts you forever.
That's all you need, baby. That's all you need. Okay, this episode.
Just need one.
That's all you need. This episode, we're going to talk about Texas Open, Nationals, and then Meg's hot take on the pickle world and the Vibe and MLP merge. I know it's a little late, but hey, I've been on the road the last 3 weeks, and so if you guys want me to do like an audio platform in between weeks, I could do that, but you won't get to see this pretty face, you won't get to see that pretty face, and you won't get to see K-Mac's pretty face either. So I think this makes more sense. First and foremost, Texas Open, Rockwall, always love going there. Beautiful place in kind of the middle of nowhere to a certain degree, but the Oasis Beach and Tennis Club, actually the first pickle camp that was ever taught there was me back in 2018. I taught a level up camp there. There was no pickleball courts. It was all tennis. It was all beach and tennis. And I ended up, I had eight people that signed up for that camp that did not know how to play pickleball. They were all like 2-5 and 3-0. Yeah, honestly, they were all 2-5 and 3-0. And that same group is still playing this day. I've been going there the last 3 or 4 years in a row, playing the same tournament. They're always in my corner. And Francine's been K-Mac'd and McGuffin multiple times. Anyhow, so when I had taught that first camp, it was indoors. I had to show up early, tape my lines down, pull out the portable nets. Anyhow, now here we are, 4 or 5 years later, and that place literally is it's rows and rows of courts. No more tennis courts. There could be 2 tennis courts indoors, but as far as everything outdoors, it's all pickle. The tournament was ran great. PPA did a great job as always. Center court was rocking. They had the covered structure, which I think is pretty sweet. A lot of southern states have those covered structures where if it dumps rain, you can still play tennis or pickle under those structures. When I was at John Newcomb's Tennis Academy back in New Braunfels, this was like 2007. I was a junior in high school. They had 20 tennis courts all lined up over a covered structure, and nice. Rain, lightning, didn't matter. We were out there hitting tennis balls about 10 hours a day. Yeah, beautiful tournament. Did not have my wife there, and K-Mac was not there either. Last couple years, we've taught a camp there. K-Mac, how was that camp last year?
Yeah, it was a big one. I think we've done two in a row. But I played the tournament. This is the first year I haven't played it. Played the last couple of years. It's one of my favorite venues, even though it's out in the middle of nowhere. And like you said, it's really nice with these bigger facilities when they do the covered structure, because even if there is some weather issues, which I believe one year there was, you're still able to get the matches going. Don't have to pause on all the courts. So. Great tournament. I would highly recommend it for both pros and amateurs.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a little special memory there. I don't know if you remember, but that was Banks' first tournament was at the Oasis. She was 2 weeks old, and we flew with her. And I think it may have been pro-only event. It was just as things were getting back going, I think, after COVID.
And luckily, she was too young to see Daddy drop the bird on Matt Wright in both mixed and mixed doubles. Drop the bird on him. No. Kind of funny is that I got a text from Matt Wright this morning. And we are definitely all good these days. But back in the day, there was some heat. There was some heat, baby. I'll tell you what. Yeah, I dropped the bird on him in mixed doubles, and then I dropped the bird on him in men's doubles. And the boys got after. He called me a fraud. I got my index finger out, pointed at his face, said, "You're terrible for pickleball and you're ugly," and yada, yada, yada. Anyhow, just two bozos going at it is what it was.
I'm pretty sure a new rule was created after that incident.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don Stanley put it in.
No index or no middle.
No, don't do it.
Put your fingers away. Okay, get your dirty,
filthy kindergarten class.
Get your dirty, filthy fingers to yourself. Anyhow, so always some good food there in Rockwell too, man. Ate some good barbecue. There's some good Mexican there. Had some Italian. But it was cold and windy. I'll tell you what. It was wild. It was the first time ever where I've heard tornado sirens in a town. There was a freaking tornado that swept through there, and this was on Friday after I balled out in singles on Thursday. But yeah, Friday. It was it was supposed to rain all day long, and so we were I think I played my first match outside, and then by like 10 o'clock it started sprinkling, so we were under the covered structure and played a couple more rounds. It was my first time in I don't know 6 months beating Matt and Lucy, which was a nice little dub. Played with Lee Waters. Mama Waters played great as always. Drive and crash and make it messy, baby. But got a dub over them, and then I'm trying to think. Did we play?
They had you pause. I think they had the main draw pause, and then they kept playing out, I think, to the bronze. But it was during that the storm, like all the warnings were coming, and it was crazy. And actually during the live stream, because I was still watching it as they were trying to play the
they're trying to
matches,
play right,
and all these people are sitting under the under the covered structure, and then all of a sudden you just see everyone pop up and run, and like rain's coming in sideways, and at that point
it was crazy.
It wasn't okay to be outside.
Right.
I don't think.
So anyhow, so I didn't play Annalie and Ben until this was Saturday night after men's. So I got a little confused there. So after we played Matt and Lucy, it was like around noon. They tried to play the backdraw matches, and by like 2 o'clock, it was just coming down, blowing 40 miles an hour. It was the weirdest thing, man. Like, luckily, it didn't hit Rockwell. It hit all the surrounding areas, but yeah, it like blew super hard, and like it was dark as could be at like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then all of a sudden it got like really quiet, and so I like called down to the front desk. I'm like, hey, like, is there a time where you like call all the rooms and like let us know to like go in like the hiding place for like a tornado? Like, is there like a siren, or is there like an alert? Like, you know what I mean? Anyhow,
where's your cell? Yeah, be in the cell.
Where's
Can we do a drill?
Where's the hiding den? I need help.
Oh my gosh. I just told him, I said his phone was going off. And I said, you probably should just go to the lowest floor. I don't know if that's the right advice, but I thought you probably don't want to be up top.
But I was watching the news and it was crazy, man. I mean, just like, you know, like the hurricane in Fort Myers, all the damage that did. I mean, honestly, just so sad. It's ridiculous. And then that, like, watching the news and seeing houses just get, like, you know, taken off the ground and swept up and stuff blowing everywhere, and scary stuff, you know, and it just makes you like appreciate living in the Northwest and not having to deal with, you know, stuff like that.
For sure. Yeah. The worst we have is some ice and snow and
earthquakes.
We can all handle that. Yeah. And
my wife.
Yeah. None of us have any real experience with tornado protocol, do we? Being in the Northwest.
No.
Isn't Tyson? Isn't Texas the same tournament that a few years ago it was so hot in singles that you were like struggling with heat exhaustion?
Texas Open. I was walking around like Frankenstein. Oh yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No.
Each extreme.
Well, yeah. I mean,
you go from heat exhaustion to tornado warning.
I mean,
years later.
This year in Frisco, I mean, I was in full body cramps. Like Sam Flaxman had to drive me to the hotel. I got a mobile nurse that came over and poked me, and then a couple years ago at Texas Open, they had it in September. Same thing. It was like Frisco weather, hot, humid. Ben and I were literally just dying in the winners bracket final. And I was looking at him. It looked like he was about to roll over and die. He was looking at me, thinking the same thing. And basically, it was like, who was going to just stand longer, right? He won game one. It's like 3-all in game two, and I just go down, bro. Full body cramps, get taken out on a freaking wheelchair. They shoved me in a ambulance and tried to poke me. I was like so dehydrated that they couldn't poke me. And
not the police chief. It was the fire guy or whatever. He called me and said, "Hey, just so you know, your husband's pretty much refusing to go into the hospital, but if he doesn't allow me, I'm going to I'm gonna have to go through his neck next." And he was like, no, let's give it one
try. You're not gonna poke him in the neck. He got a dart in your neck, man.
Tyson just being difficult.
He is. I know. Just go in.
Anyhow, I actually tried to go back out on the court, and I walked out of the ambulance thinking I was gonna be fine, and then I just like fell to the ground. Like you dipshit, chill out.
Stay where you're at.
Put him down.
But there really should be a protocol for notifying people with this kind of stuff, because every time all I see is like the feed goes out, nobody says anything, and then online on pickleballtournaments.com it says like medical or something, and I had no idea.
He's down. Frankenstein has arrived.
We need a phone tree. Someone needs to call me and let me know.
Off that subject, Christian Alshon playing, I believe that's how you pronounce his last name, Alshon. Yep. By the way, you should check out his YouTube channel. He's been making vlogs. He's probably the only player in pickleball right now that's doing vlogs. I have been wanting.
Alshon, right? Is it Alshon?
Alshon. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have been wanting to do vlogs. I don't know. I just don't have the time for it, or I just don't want to film myself, or I want a camera person following me around. I don't want to do it myself.
It's hard. It's hard to do it. I mean, if you think about all the setup behind, putting the camera up, and then, I mean, we've all kind of given it a go, but I think we're at the point where it would be really nice.
Anyhow, he put on a complete clinic against Benny. Flea flicker, tweener. I mean, you saw that. I mean, the guy is just a showman. He's just a showman.
The natural talent. Looks like he's just messing around.
He's just
was still able to keep it extremely competitive with Ben.
And it was, I mean, honestly, he could have beat Benny in two. He hit like a tweener for a winner. He had a flea flicker for a winner. The guy's just a walking freaking highlight reel. Talk about Travis. Is it Rettenmaier? Get the pronunciation right? Rettenmaier. Okay.
Rettenmaier.
So TR beat me in the same stinking match to go to bronze. He's going to think this is funny. And something he said in both matches is, if you didn't know, now you know. Sucker.
He's barking that.
He's barking that. The guy loves the bark. He loves the bark. That's just part of it. That's just part of it. Also, too, I was so funny, bro. I was watching him play Callan Dawson, and Callan lobbed him a couple times, obviously, the lob doctor, and then he lobbed him back. And he said, and Travis said, "Lob doctor bullshit."
Oh my God.
Or it was like
see your lob and
I'll see your lob and I'll raise it.
Oh my god.
That's perfect.
Anyhow, so he's playing well, bro. Like he's using the 002, using the sword, using the paddle that I helped design and that I am unfortunately not able to use at the moment, but may go back, may not. I'm really starting to like the Power Air, and actually, I don't know if I told you this, K-Mac, but I went from 8.5 to 9.5 with my Power Air and added a ton of lead. I'm actually getting a ton of pop, and it feels similar to an 002, just with more feel.
Just a little heavier.
Yeah, just with more feel. Anyhow, so he's banging thirds, he's crashing, he's got good hands. The dinking is a little suspect, but I mean he's dinking well enough to set up offense. He doesn't have to like grind a whole ton. Anyhow, the guy fights well, and he's got a ton of confidence and likes to bark, baby. Loves to bark. Another story I'm going to tell is that Lee and I played him in, is it Etna or Etta? Etta or Etna?
I think it's Etta. I believe it's Etta.
Etta. Just keep correcting me, okay?
Yeah, I apparently I know how to pronounce those names. I just realized that.
Funny thing too is that I've seen Etta. I saw Etta at the Airport Nationals, and I saw Etta at the airport in Newport Beach as well. Anyhow, so we're playing Lee, or we're playing Travis and her, and there was like a controversial call over a line call, and Lee thought it was in, Travis thought it was out. And then a couple plays later, Travis hit an overhead for a winner. It was on my side. It was clearly in. Lee called it out. I overruled Lee. And anyhow, Lee said something to him. He said you're classless. And then at the it was like, I don't know. I think we lost like 14-16. At like 14-15, he hits like a speed up at Lee and then ends up cleaning up at her feet and says, "Eat that," and looks at her. And they kind of get into it, as we're tapping paddles. But anyhow, hey, the guy likes to bark. And honestly, too, something that I heard one of the PP owners say is that I'm not going to mention who because I probably shouldn't, but one of the PP owners honestly mentioned or said that. They love the drama. They love when guys talk a lot of trash. Like, this is not tennis. Like, I want you guys to like find a character, use your character, be as like authentic as you can. And if you want to be like a Riley or like a Matt or like a Travis and that suits you, freaking use and abuse it.
Well, that's what I was going to say, Tyson. It seems like there's a bit of a pattern of people are getting a little chirpier, especially in
little chirpy
back and forth, whether it's men's, mixed, women's. Just seems like everybody's getting a little more vocal, like sending a message, like I came here to play. And, I'm sure we're going to have some instances where it goes overboard or it doesn't look great. But I'm kind of in the camp with the owners. Like, I like a little bit of drama out there, and it makes it extra entertaining. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
I'm a fan. I think, like I use my character. I own my character. I know who I am, and fans can appreciate that. And, there's plenty of Matt Wright fans that love his antics. There's plenty of Rye fans that love his antics. There's plenty of Lee Waters fans that loves her antics, So I think use your character, own it. And if you're real like that, you're bound to have some real ass fans. Right?
Yeah. No, I think a couple things. I think maybe the stakes are a little higher. I think the pool is getting a little more diverse. And so in order to stand out, I think you've got a little bit more personality shining on the court. But I think that it's good. I think it's nice for people to kind of see what you get. I think there are still a few players, and I wouldn't name names either, on tour in which they present themselves much differently on the court than probably how they live their personal lives. And so I think with some of the players like a Matt Wright or Riley or whatever, what you see is what you get. Like, they're not pretending to be somebody on court and then pretending to be someone else, privately. So I think, I think it's cool to be a little transparent, and it creates a story.
Well, I think too, I mean, I kind of felt this, competing this weekend, especially, in doubles, it's such a battle of energy, right? Like, you want to be the one sending that message and giving off positive energy and kind of reaching for energy in some of those type matches. So for me, getting a little bit louder helps do that. And then when my opponents are getting loud, I feel like the need to match that energy sometimes vocally too. So it becomes this almost contest within the contest of I don't want to be quiet and be a mouse out there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Who's got more energy?
You know, so I feel like I need to at least keep the energy equal. For me, that energy comes out in a vocal way. And, you know, I can get crabby. Sometimes my energy maybe goes over the top. I mean, like many people's do, but I just think in general, it's needed when you're trying to really, you know, play your best.
K-Mac's a big fan of integrity. Okay, I mean, just show that you have integrity. You know, hey, tell that story, please. You don't have to mention who. Just tell that story.
We were playing after a camp in
long day.
Alabama. Long day. It's hot, it's humid. You know, we're playing against a local 5-0 with, you know, the teaching pros, and match is getting pretty tight. And I hit a ball that it's kind of catch and release. It's a counter punch. I don't hit it clean. I take a big swing. It kind of double hits it, all one motion. And it lands very, very close to the back line. I don't know if it's in or out. They kind of pause. But the local guy that we were playing with, he didn't turn his head. So as I'm hitting it and I'm seeing the ball go past him, he's still staring at me. So we're all not sure. And he like confidently says, "Oh, yeah, ball's out." And I'm like, "Well, wait a second." You know, and I'm toying with him a little bit. I'm like, "Well, how much was it out by?" He goes, "Oh, it was way out, way out." And so me just knowing, one, that it wasn't way out. Two, knowing that he didn't see it because he was looking right at me as the ball crossed. It just like lit a fire under me. And I'm kind of, I don't know. I think I can be seen as kind of a nice guy, you know, in rec games a lot of times, but it just flipped. Everybody could see that I kind of got angry, and my level got tremendously better after I got angry. So it's kind of an inside joke that we have of, you know, don't show Kyle that you don't have any integrity, or he'll be a new guy on the court. So yeah, fun little inside coach's story there. But I can get a little. I almost have two different personalities. I think I'm pretty like logical, even keeled guy on the court. But when I'm in a pressure cooker, like sometimes different animal, and a different animal comes out. It's not always the best persona. I'll be the first to admit that.
It's got that dog in him.
I haven't put my foot in my mouth too many times yet, thankfully.
If you don't have that dog in, it just means that you're not a true competitor. As simple as that. Right?
So I mean, even this weekend, you know, and I really like the Johnsons, but we were playing them in the back draw, and you know, it was a tight game to 15, and they were loud, we were loud. You know, they did a couple of things that just in the moment got under my skin, so I kind of used that as fuel, and it got relatively heated back and forth. So yeah, you never know what side's going to come out in those matches.
Yeah, love it. I think for all the fans and listeners out there, I mean, something to think about is anger is not your best friend, as my mother used to tell me. But there's a certain amount of that where you can use as fuel. And if it's controlled aggression and if it's controlled emotions, you know, think about, I mean, it's like what K-Mac said, be even keel, use it as fuel, take it one point at a time, but use it as energy, you know, raise the intensity, raise the energy, let your opponents know, bark a little bit, pump your chest, you know, or if you're not that person, just inside, use that. And there's nothing more powerful than to be able to grab onto that stuff and freaking ride, baby. Let it ride.
Terry Niemoff used to say, "Let it out through your fingertips."
Let it out through your fingertips. Oh yeah, the old Sensei Niemoff.
Yep.
Sensei.
I remember that. Even your nerves. He said, when you're nervous or you're angry or whatever, just think that your opponent's probably just as much, if not more, and
just get your serve in, Meg.
I know. Dang it.
Okay? Don't have the yips. It's so funny, bro. Meg's scared to play pickle right now because she's got the yips on her serve again. I'm like, sweetie,
I need Hank.
Get your ass back out there.
I need Hank Haney to come
Find
help
a
me
routine.
fix this.
Find a routine, you know? Too funny. Obviously, I got my act together, grew a pair, had some good people around me, got re-inspired. My guy, Craig Feisner, my wife, my health coach, Ben Greenfield, and just, you know, maybe doing things better as an athlete, being more disciplined, eating better, and all the above. I finally got over the hump. And I honestly, like, for all my fans and viewers and people that are listening out there, keywords: having some belief, having the right mindset. Like, my wife can go through the whole text. I mean, I was probably signing like a crazy man. I was building myself up. I was delusional as could be. I kept like over respecting Ben, and Anyhow, I woke up Sunday morning in Rockwall saying, hey, let's freaking change the story. Let's change the narrative. Let's be a dog today. And I told myself Saturday night, I said, this is my time. I'm deserving. I've been working my ass off. I've been sacrificing. I get up early. I play from 6 to 8. I go work out. I come back. I do a second workout. I'm spending time away from the kids. I'm doing it better than I think anyone out there. And so it's my freaking time. And, yeah, key words, not focusing on anybody else, being selfish. I think some of the best athletes out there are very selfish in that sense. And yeah, I was able to find this extra gear. I was able to find that extra dog in me. And I freaking thumped serves like there was no tomorrow. I found the forehand. The forehand was red hot. And something that I'm gonna say about Ben. He showed up, and this is what pissed me off, and this is what really got me going. And I would assume he's probably gonna listen to this, but something that got me going is that this guy shows up, matches at 10. He shows up at 10:01 in his sandals, no warm up. I got there at 9. I sweated through 3 shirts, played a couple games. As most people know me, I'm all about reps. K-Mac's all about his reps too. And I did it the right way. This guy shows up cold, and I stuck it to him.
Let it out through your fingertips.
I did not know that. No, that's a nice little tidbit. I did not.
God, I mean, I don't know, unless he was
online.
Unless he was,
slept past his alarm.
Who knows? But anyhow, right then and there, I'm like, okay, kill or be killed, sink or swim.
It doesn't really matter the reason. It matters what you tell yourself. So right then, you decided to use that as fuel mentally, right?
Right.
To get you over the hump right then. So that's what you have to do out there. And obviously you played a great match, but again, everything that you're referencing, when you play somebody that many times and they're tough to beat or they have your number, and a lot of us are in that situation, it's really the mental war first that has to be won. Like you have to legitimately get yourself in the state of mind where you believe that it's your moment, that block all the rest of those matches away, and that, it's a new day. And I love what you talked about with, just like believing that you were deserving of it, right? You're making extra sacrifices, like, if this is why you're making those, right? So to have that belief and be ready to win. And again, it's amazing to me how much, if the battle isn't won mentally first, it doesn't matter, what true. Transpires physically.
So true. Visualizing him, I can't tell you how many times Saturday night and Sunday morning I ran through my interview. I ran through myself winning the match. I had my interview dialed. I knew what I was going to say. I mean, honestly, I was mentally, physically geared and ready to die out there. I was more than ready. I think, for all my viewers out there, I mean, having the right mindset, keywords, doesn't matter how many times you lose, keep pushing away, keep climbing. There is light at the end of the tunnel. It's just a matter of believing, having the right mindset, and freaking putting yourself in a higher position. And honestly, too, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it takes a certain amount of like bravery, be honest, like even between us, like we obviously talk off camera all the time. Like, I know how you feel about this stuff, but when you're texting me, you're not like, hey, I hope I play well. You're not saying, I hope I beat Ben. You're saying, I'm going to win. Like, I put in the work. Tomorrow's my day. Like, when you say that and then it doesn't go your way, like certain people are gun shy to put it out there, but you have to be bold and brave enough to legitimately believe.
For sure. No, exactly. Yep. And something that I did great in that match that I did not do in Newport is I returned exceptionally well too. He was able to get it deep, push him on his heels, win the cat and mouse battles. He had a hard time coming in, and anyhow, so it was a damn good day. Also too, there was somebody in the crowd that was going he was going ape shit. His name's Zach. Cool thing is that we actually partied together that night. I got his number at the venue. We went out that night, had a good time, and it was kind of funny, bro. He was holding up a sign, and the sign said, I took my girlfriend off of IG because of Tyson McGuffin. and then after I won, he had some Michelob Ultras, and we both smashed a beer together, and which was pretty legendary. And I'm not going to talk about it in this episode, but maybe next episode. But I may have gotten a beer sponsor, not because of that, but it may have contributed. Anyhow, damn good.
Holding the trophy, right? As you guys were getting after it.
So I like walked over to the fence, smashed a beard, threw it on the ground, and then did my little interview, held up the trophy, put my paddle in the trophy. Definitely considered next time, bro. Next time, this is what's gonna happen. Next time, I'm gonna do a shoey out of my Skechers shoe. Oh, game over. Game over, bro. Game over. No. Game over. That's what's gonna happen. I may even hawk a big old loogie in my Skechers and then dump a beer in there and do it.
I feel like that needs to be like a hashtag that you use, like the next gold medal.
Skechers shoey.
Hashtag shoey. Give the people what
we'll
give them what they want.
We can throw a little teaser out there. We can't name the name yet, but we'll just say it'll be Tyson time, kind of indicating which beer company we're aligning with.
Okay, talking about nationals here. Beautiful venue, best court in pickleball. We all know that. It's like the water literally just runs on the grass all day long. The grass is green, pristine. That backdrop of mountains is
looks fake.
It doesn't even look real. It wasn't ran great. Honestly, it was nice to be able to like wake up. We had an Airbnb. We had a babysitter the whole time. Meg got to go to the venue. I had my trainer Craig with me. Super sweet to have that guy around, like in my ear. He did all my stretching morning and night. Nice. He was kind of there on the court with me, helping out, giving me some mental belief. And anyhow, it was nice to be able to wake up. Obviously, we always get a spot with a hot tub that is necessary morning and night. Got to get that dip in. But it was nice to be able to wake up, like make breakfast, have time with the family, take the kids in the hot tub in the pool, hang out till like 10, go to the venue, play at 11. But once you got to the venue, I kid you not, from like 11 to 6, it was back to back to back. I mean, you just kept playing. There was no breaks. And the cool thing was that there was this super sweet pro lounge area where all the pro tennis players at BNP Paribas get to hang out. And we got to like go in the locker rooms where Rafa and Fed. Yeah, I mean, it was so sick.
Oh, sick.
It was so sick, honestly, so sick. But it was so far away that anytime you played a match, it took like 8 minutes to get to the court. And then when you're done with your match, you try to walk back to the lounge. And once you got back to the lounge, you get called to play again. And, I mean, honestly, so it was like you really didn't even get to hang out at the lounge unless you were there at 9 a.m. taking a shower and hanging out and having breakfast there.
Yeah.
Right. But throughout the day, it didn't make sense.
It was honestly, they just kept punting you back out and saying, get your ass out there and continue to play.
It's so funny because we've seen both extremes, right? We've seen where there's only
PPA,
one.
I mean, it takes 2 or 3 hours to play a quarters match.
Because PPA, they have one streaming court. Who knows? Hopefully that will change. I think we talked about that a little bit on a previous episode. Luckily at Nationals, they had 3 courts streaming. So I think that makes a lot of sense, but it went from one extreme to the other. It went from waiting hours in between your matches to only having like 15 minutes, which can be fine maybe in a backdraw, but when you're playing best 2 out of 3 and some of these matches are going over an hour and then you have like 15 minutes to get back out to the next, it just feels very rushed. And so I don't know how they fix that or what they do there, but maybe 3 courts was too much. I don't know. But they got to figure that out because I think not only that, like just the way that it runs, but I think the health and safety of the players too needs to come into play there because when you're, guys are playing for an hour and a half and then not even having time to get back or sit down for a second or get something to eat and then they're right back on for another hour and a half. I think it's going to cause problems.
Yeah, that was tricky. Tricky.
So Tyson, I've never thought about this, but what would you say what would be the sweet spot for the average? Obviously, it's going to vary
30 minutes,
but average amount of time. Yeah. You think half hour?
30. Half hour cushion gives you some time to get some fuel back in you, hydrate, supplements, food, all that. And
I agree, but not so long where you kind of get cold.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly, I would play at that venue any day. That venue is sick. I mean, every court's like a championship court. There's celebs walking around. Sam Querrey was there. Doug Elin. Doug Elin owns the.
He's the producer of Entourage.
He's a producer of Entourage. He also has a podcast. Super cool dude. Anyhow, so yeah, great venue, beautiful area. Love taking our kids there. Got some good body work. There's a gal named Arlene, Lazy. She's our masseuse. Anytime we go to Palm Springs, we always hang out with Arlene.
She's the split time between Coeur d'Alene and Palm Springs, so little hometown love.
Yep. But and then having my guy Craig down there. Craig, I think something new that's in pickle. The Waters are bringing out a trainer. Catherine Parento is bringing out a trainer. The Waters use the trainer for all the big ones. Catherine has been using the same guy. His name's Connor. Big shout out to Connor. The guy is a complete stud. Big fan of Connor, and not as much of a stud as Craig, but definitely a big fan of him.
There's levels.
There's levels. I mean, I have a crush on. I have a crush on Connor. I would marry Craig.
This is getting out of hand.
Sorry, Lindsay. Sorry.
Both of these gentlemen are married, by the way, on all sides. They're
Bro crush.
Sorry, Tyson, you're too late. They're taken.
They're taken. Dang it.
So singles day. Actually, no, sorry. So there was media day on that Wednesday. It was kind of cool. First time ever being a part of like a full media day. It was 2 or 3 hours. And there was a documentary going on as well. We ended up going to this house afterwards, doing a little documentary thing. Brought the kids, all the above. Lots of cool stuff coming. Honestly, like my whole brand and how much crap is going on, brand deals, brand endorsements, the documentary stuff. It's ripping up right now. It's great. So we are trying to capitalize and pinch as much dough as we can out of this.
It's exciting. I think too. It's going to be so cool. I think for how much of the pickleball community is just dying, right? Dying for content, dying for to be able to watch stuff, dying for a story, dying for personalities, and now we've got documentary and all these things coming out. So it's just so cool that people are really going to get everybody's story from all different angles, which I think is going to be huge for viewership. And we all need more viewership.
But media day, they had USA Pickleball content people. They had various content people that's in pickleball show up. They had news, news stations, news outlets. USA Today was there, and so basically they just went like these people wanted select pros, and so some pros were there for an hour, some pros were there for 2 hours, some pros were there for 3 hours. So it kind of seemed like there was a couple of us that got more camera time than others. But I know it was great. I mean, honestly, I just kind of rotated around with various content people doing news interviews. I did a couple phone interviews. But we were used and abused in a very good way for a couple hours. They provided lunch and was some pretty cool shit. I'll tell you what, it was cool.
And you were, I mean, maybe it wasn't specifically this, but you were on point for the cameras all of Nationals. I had different people texting me saying Tyson's one-liners are hilarious. Just with your on-court interviews, just seemed like you were ready to go.
I was ready, baby. Yeah, so I think my best one was during singles. I said they just keep getting younger, and I just keep getting better looking.
Oh my gosh, we sat with
Meg even laughed on that one.
It was good. I was sitting with Aubrey. She's so sweet. She's from Chavile, and she just couldn't let that one go. I mean, that was such a good one.
my whole new theory now on interviews, I'm just gonna take over and use my character, use my platform, be as loud as possible. Like in that same interview, I was like, it's my time, I'm the guy, nobody does it better than me, I'm deserving. They just keep getting younger, I just keep getting better looking. Yeah.
Why not have some fun?
Enjoy the microphone away.
Kill or be killed, baby.
I love too. That was it. Dom was interviewing Tyson, and he was asking questions, but then you were just going off in a different direction, and he was loving it though, because I was thinking in my mind, how many interviews does Dom have to pull information or pull comments out of the other players, and so
steal the show.
I think he was glad, and he found some comedy in it too. So
but I think sponsors can appreciate that, fans can appreciate that, and I watch so much UFC, and I kid you not, after a fight, the raw, authentic interviews that these guys and gals give, they use their platform and they just go off. They freaking go off for 5 minutes, right? And they're pumped up, Joe Rogan's has the mic in their face, they just want to fight.
Yeah.
All that adrenaline's going. So use your platform to the max.
Yeah.
To Meg's point, it totally is like that, because I've watched some with you, and it seems like they'll ask a question after a fight, and and they don't even really answer the question. They just do their own thing and just say it with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, right.
It's like they don't even hear what the question is. They just talk about what they want to talk about.
No, for sure.
And everybody's entertained.
Yeah. I think the last 3 weeks when I've been asked questions, I haven't answered a single question. I just go my own direction.
You maybe start and then it just kind of tails off. Pretty soon there's gonna start playing music in the background as like the acceptance speeches to get you off the stand.
Get him out of here.
Little
Reel it in.
indicator you're running out of time.
Okay, so singles, I saved 12 match points against Jay. That's the only time in my career where I saved 12 match points. Meg was there watching. It was insane. Craig was on the sideline, like, give me that like combat sport talk. Kill or be killed, sink or swim. You're the dog. Nobody's tougher than you. Come on.
At eight saved points, I was like, oh my gosh, it's meant to be. There's no way that this continues like this and then doesn't.
2 of the match points too. Long cat and mouse point. Jay hit an ATP. I basically closed my eyes and hit like a defend winner cross court. Happened twice, and then at 9-10. No, sorry. Yeah, so I was stuck at 8. Got off at 8, brought it to 10. Spanked a winner inside in. Like Jay hit a return up the line, ran around, held, went inside in, and then on match point, Jay missed a return. I felt bad too because there was a ton of people watching, and it was 95% TM and 5% Frenchie.
Gotcha. So it's like a home crowd for you.
It was for sure. They were loud, and Meg was. She's going crazy about me to take her shirt off.
I couldn't breathe.
Whoa! Keep your clothes on. My gosh.
No, it was so hard to, in those like super intense matches, and you're just like glued to it, and you're like emotionally invested, and you're like, oh my gosh, this has got to end, or my heart's gonna explode.
Yeah. It's so funny, bro. I swear, like, she's such an angel. My gosh, much more of an angel than I am. She like throughout all of nationals, I'm on the side, like I'm on court. She's sitting next to Craig and like our little team. Like my eyes are like, fierce as could be with fire. And I'm looking at her and I'm looking at Craig. Craig's barking at me. She's basically praying on the sideline. I swear to God, 90% of the time she's praying. She has her head down and her eyes are closed and she's praying. I swear to God.
Hey,
it's so true though, Meg. Like obviously you can have nerves when you're competing, but you're letting so much of that out. I feel more nervous when I'm watching a really important match because there's so much nervous energy. You're completely helpless. But yeah, it's definitely how you feel when you're super invested in a match.
K-Mac was there when I won Cincinnati, and Pierre's going crazy, K-Mac's going crazy, Mark's going crazy. I mean, those are moments that I'll have for like the rest of my life. Like having people in my corner, being able to and I mean, I don't know. Probably unlike most other players, I'm a big fan of having people around me and like being able to like look at my fans having a little crew that I can bark at and get me going.
No, I think it's so cool too. Like you said, you have the memories, but I think for those of us watching, like Kyle, me, Pierre, whatever, like we know so much of the backstory about what it took to get there and how much you keep showing up even if you're not winning. Just all the things, and so it emotionally charges it so much more.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's see here. We had a little gathering at Nationals, kind of cool. That the media team, the documentary team actually came to our house for the gathering. We had a bunch of pro players there. I was mic'd up. Sherry was mic'd up. Sherry was just a highlight reel the whole time. Sherry brought like a fifth of Tito's. He's like taking swigs off of a fifth of Tito's, talking a bunch of trash, telling a bunch of crazy stories, being his usual self, taking his clothes off as always. Oh, no. Keep your pants on, Sherry. Keep your pants on, okay? No, the guy is just a walking highlight reel.
No, it was fun because Nationals awesome. Brings both tours together, right?
Yeah,
so
like
people that we used to see all the time, and we don't do a lot of that just because we don't have time, but it was the perfect tournament to have a little get together, ordered some really good food, and people came over, and everybody got to just kind of let their hair down and chat and let all the stories out and talk a little trash but laugh about it and like on a whole different
AJ, Thomas Wilson, Vivian David, the Johnson boys, Pablo, Frederico, Travis, Rettenmaier, who else? Ryan Sherry,
the Johnsons.
Yeah, the Johnson boys.
Yeah.
Anyhow, it was fun, man.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It was fun to see, it's fun to see the different sides of some of these people that you play against too, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, right.
Sometimes they're the same person on or off the court. Sometimes they can be completely different, in a social or more of a party atmosphere. So I always get a kick out of that, seeing people that I know in a different light.
Yeah, and a lot of with the new guys, we don't really know them, so it was cool to actually talk to them and get their take on pickleball as a sport, pickleball as a business. So yeah, I thought it was really cool. It was something we should do more often, I think, to get some people together and do that. It was fun.
Okay, so let's see here. And then also too, we went to a Discovery property. Those places are dumps. I hate spending time at various properties like that. They're just terrible. You get to hang out with high-end celebrities, Michael Jordan, John Elway, Wayne Gretzky.
The grass on that golf course was so
sucks.
perfect.
It sucks.
Yeah, you could eat off that grass. I mean, it was like prettier than, I don't know, the golf course was unreal.
I would bathe in that grass.
It was crazy.
So was this Discovery right there in Palm Springs?
Yeah, it's called the Madison Club. Right there, baby.
He's got rocking the shirt.
Representing under my Jackson sweater and my new ice. Shout out to Baird for the ice deal. Anyhow, so we ended up playing at this guy Gala.
Gala.
Yeah.
Yep, Gala. Essentially, Gala designs houses or does this for
designs $100 to $200 million homes. Sick.
Yeah.
His place. Not to cut Meg off, but I mean, tell it. No,
I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, it's crazy. It sounds like you get the full package. I mean, that you're talking about a house that comes with like exotic cars, butler, a helicopter pad. I mean, it's a whole. But yeah, no, I think. What was I going to say? Oh, that's why. So everybody was over themselves over the court because Tyson posted some videos. I think maybe Doug posted some clips and they're like, oh my gosh, where's that court? So that is Gala's court. Best. I mean, and just the court is $15 million. Yeah. So that whole setup, it's insane. Literally the nicest court in the world. We got to play at it. He lives at the Madison Club, and anyhow, sick. I mean, you pull up to the crib, super modern, cars all over. You walk in. I was so nervous to walk in there, and come to find out, he told me he was nervous to meet me, and I said, "Stop, stop." Yeah. He said my energy is infectious. Anyhow, coolest guy. But yeah, it was kind of funny. He didn't the court was blue, white lines, and then the kitchen was gray, but there was no kitchen line. It was just like the blue and the gray meeting.
The blue turned into the gray.
Yeah, it was kind of wild.
What'd you think of it?
Because I love him, I'll say it's okay if I was to have it my way. I mean, I don't know. It's just like I didn't know like where my feet were, so it was kind of tricky.
It was kind of different.
Yeah,
different visually. Yeah.
But yeah, brought Dylan over, brought James, Frederico, and yeah, played some singles for a little bit, played some doubles. Anyhow, cool dude. Doug Elin was there. Doug's podcast, it's called Victory Podcast. I'm going to be on Doug's podcast here very soon. I'm also going to bring Dougie on ours. Yeah, Doug got some film. If you guys want to check out that court, you can go to my IG page. I have a little video on there. It's called it's by the kitchen. It's called Tyson's a Showman. And it's of me. It was kind of funny. Doug took one video and he's like, Tyson, show me something. And so I ended up like hitting a serve. I was on the left. We're having like a dinking point. It just so happens the ball rolls outside the court. I hit this perfect ATP. Look at the camera and say, take that. It was perfect. It was
perfect setup.
Yeah. Perfect timing.
Yeah. But anyhow, beautiful court. And Gali even said that next time our family is in Palm Springs, we can stay there. So we will gladly stay there anytime. So thank you, cool dude. And said that I'm his number one. So I was more than happy to hear that. But let's see.
Infectious energy.
Oh yeah.
Infectious.
We may have splurged at LV, Louis Vuitton. Kind of funny. My trainer Craig doesn't have any, anything high-end designer branding like that. And we took Craig to Louis Vuitton and bought him a pair of sunglasses, and it was like a kid in a candy shop. It was too funny.
Oh, no
yeah,
way. That's
yeah,
awesome.
no. He's been wearing those things to sleep.
They look good on him.
Oh, they look great. I mean, he's a stud as it is. He's like growing in the beard. He's bald, just shredded, and then now he's got those LV shades. Watch out, the guy's he's more than dangerous.
Mean business.
Okay, Meg, what is your hot take on the pickle world and the merge of Vibe
On
and
the
MLP?
pickle world, huh? Well, yeah, I guess the merger, right? Everybody's talking about it. When the news came out, it was a really big deal. Luckily, the players, we all kind of got contacted ahead of time to give us kind of the rundown before it went completely public. But yeah, I mean, people are saying, before the battle could ensue, right? They shook hands and decided to become one. It will keep the MLP name. It will keep the same format. I think the only predicament that they may be in, and maybe don't call it that, but is how many teams they have, right? Because there's a lot of teams now. I think there's 24. Is that right? Mm-hmm. So, how do we make that happen? I think part of it that is good is they're going to remain standalone events, which I like that better than to jam it all into one Sunday attached to a tournament. So there'll be standalone events.
Especially with 24 teams. Too.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe if it is like a 2-day, 3-day standalone event, maybe you can work it out with 24 teams. I'm not sure how that would work, but I think there's talks too. And this is what's tricky. They made this announcement. They made the announcement for the merger, and now there's no news past that. So we don't know yet if there's just speculation that there may be like an A tier and a B tier for the teams.
Gotcha.
Like a major and a minors, or I don't know, something like that. So it'll be interesting to see. And we're anxiously awaiting. I mean, look, we're already in November, and normally we have our schedule all planned out for 2023 in August, and we're in November and things are still changing. Right. So we're a little bit in panic mode. And for our campers out there and everybody, right, we're trying to like figure out when we're going to be doing things. So, but yeah, so hopefully soon, I would hope that we'll figure out when these 6 events, I believe it's 6, will be taking place, and where they're going to be taking place. And then, how the whole format goes, but some still really exciting team owners coming in, and the idea that it all gets to combine, I think, is just the right thing to do. I think it's pretty cool. So
love it.
Tyson, how do you feel about it? Because you played in the first MLP, and then with being a PPA guy, weren't able to play in the next couple. Obviously, you knew that they were having plans for the Vibe League, but it's a little bit different with everybody all combined. I mean, what do you think of as far as being an athlete who's going to be part of this thing?
I think it's great for the sport. I think put your swords away. Let's make it work. Both sides have a ton of resources. Both sides have a ton of upside. It's only going to help grow the sport. Maybe and I mean, not to throw shade or take a talk badly about APP, but I don't know, with MLP coming over to PPA, I don't know how much longer APP can survive. Maybe it's 5 years, maybe it's 10 years, maybe it's a couple, but I think players are gonna reap the benefits. I think there's only gonna be more money. I think someone like myself with playing MLP is not only gonna be on a team, but I'm gonna use the resources around me. I'm not gonna use the team owner, but I'm gonna try to get the most that I can out of being on a team and being educated, picking their brain. And if my team owner has or is like an investor in other companies and I can tap into that, freaking game over, home run, I will gladly. If there's, I guess that there's added strings attached where I can get brand endorsements or I can get educated or it could just lead to something else. I would take full advantage of that. So I think it's cool. Don't know whose team I want to be on. I mean, there's a bunch of cool team owners, but just happy to be a part of it.
I think too, speaking to that, even from the very first MLP, maybe they weren't as celebrity, but there were
2 minutes.
Not as celebrity, but I think the team owners had great, really diverse backgrounds and great business backgrounds and things, and they were already super pumped too. And it's cool, right? It's pretty intimate because it's like 4 to maybe 6 people on a team, and so I mean the owners get to be so hands-on with those 6 people and really help them and mentor them and all of the above. So I think it's super cool for people with established brands like Tyson, and I think it's super good for the emerging brands that are coming from some of the other top pickleball players. So I think it's all good things.
Any last things here, or any last notes here for our viewers or our subscribers?
We'll have the schedule out soon.
Camp schedule.
Yes.
Come on, PPA.
I know.
KMAC's like, oh my gosh, do I even have a job next year? I mean, geez, a little
I'm
wait.
jumping on that bandwagon. Give me the schedule.
I know.
Put me to work.
I'm having nightmares about the schedule. So every day I'm
almost
pushing
done.
for it.
Yeah,
almost there.
Yeah, for all the campers out there, or people who want to get KMAC or want to get McGuffin or want to come to a festival or want to get TM certified. That stuff is going to be out here very, very soon. So hold on and just wait till we get all of our ducks in a row. K-Mac, anything?
No, man. Just excited to be part of these. Excited to talk pickle. And until next time.
Thank you. This is the McGuffin Show. My name is Tyson McGuffin. You guys can like, subscribe, turn those notifications on to my YouTube channel called Tyson McGuffin Pickle. Bemer, appreciate you guys being the title sponsor. And you guys have a good day.